The Marina in Gran Canaria was a sweet little pause, and now it's time to set sail again. Hey, I'm Nike. This is my partner Floh. We're currently cruising the Canary Islands with our dogs Jango and Boga before heading south to explore West Africa. In this episode, we swap the sheltered dogs for rolly anchorages, and somewhere along the way, Floh decides it's my turn to face a little challenge. In my opinion, it's a rite of passage every sailing couple should go through, at least once. Well, jump on board to see how this one goes. Wow, it seems like time is flying. We're in Gran Canaria, in the Marina here, Las Palmas. Wow, it's windy. I wonder if this new microphone is going to be able to cope with that. And we're about to head out tonight, or well, this evening, to Tenerife, the neighboring island, just one island over to the west. I had been home to Anna Maria, my canal boat, for 4 weeks whilst Floh was here in the Marina. And now I've already been back for a week. I don't even know where time has been. We haven't really been up to much, and we haven't seen anything of Gran Canaria, which is a shame because it's said to be a really beautiful island. But sometimes life is like that. There was a lot of office work, and we also took a lot of time just for us, like couple time, which is also super important. Our idea for the next 2 months will be to cruise the western islands of the Canary Islands. So that's Hierro, Tenerife, La Gomera, and La Palma. I know that some people sail around the entire world in 2 months. We're taking it particularly slow because we just love staying in different areas for longer, and it's all work and play at the same time. So yeah, that's just our rhythm. I'm excited about the upcoming sail, but it also feels like I haven't been out sailing in a while. I feel that having the boat in the marina rather than being at anchor disconnects me from the whole sailing thing, because you're not as aware of the elements when you're in the marina. You sort of feel like you're in a house. And that's why I think leaving a marina feels like a bigger step than leaving the anchorage. So for any one of you who is thinking about going sailing, cruising the world, or cruising wherever, my personal advice would be try to get out of the marina and then operate from there, because it's just so much easier to leave at anchor than from the marina. Anyways, I'm just taking the doggies for a little last short time, and then Floh is already preparing the boat, and then it's gonna be untie the lines. Like so often in sail life, things turned out a little differently than planned. We postponed our passage to Tenerife and decided instead to explore a bit more of Gran Canaria. Leaving the island without seeing more than Las Palmas just didn't feel right. So with the sun rising on the horizon, we cast off the lines and hoisted the sails and pointed the bow south, toward a bay called Vera. Once out of the marina and back at sea, we quickly fell into that familiar sailing rhythm, taking turns at the helm, sneaking in the occasional nap, and adjusting the sails when needed. Simple and steady, and moving at astonishing snail-like speed.
So we are going full downwind course with the wind vane, and in the past I struggled a bit with it, and the sails are wing to wing. It seems to be quite balanced compared to the last times. I changed a couple of things. I'm paying much more attention to the sails so that they are as balanced as possible. And because we're going downwind, we have only about 5 knots of wind, or apparent wind. So what I did is I tilted it upwards more into the wind, and I attached a piece of cloth so that even the lighter winds are tipping the wind vane over in one way or the other. And that seemed to work very nice. So for the last 2 hours we were going smooth with the wind vane.
After 43 miles and roughly 9 hours at sea, it was time to take down the sails and look for a spot to anchor, which in the Canaries is always a bit of a challenge, and I cannot quite say that we were successful. We've been in this anchorage now for 4 days maybe? It's called Alfie. And the next anchorage or the next bay over is called Aginigin.
Yeah, I thought it's called like, tickle me Elmo, like shake me Alfie.
Yeah, it's been pretty
Bouncing
rolly.
back and forth.
It's been very rolly. There's not very many anchorages in the Canary Islands that are protected. This is definitely one of them that's not very protected, but we tried to squeeze behind the harbor wall a little bit, the breakwater, and we had a line in the anchor chain so we could point into the waves, which made us a lot more stable than any of the other boats. There's tons of hotels around, so there's always music and dancing and laughter all around. Tomorrow the wind is going to be pretty gnarly.
Now, tomorrow's okay. Tomorrow will be super
tomorrow
nice.
is going to be super nice, but the day after is going to be super gnarly. So we've just been discussing strategies, what we're going to do, where we're going to go, if we're going to stay here and just hug into like behind the breakwater a little bit more, or if we're going to go to the forbidden anchorage. It's not really forbidden. There is apparently areas where you're allowed to
some say
anchor.
so, some say so.
Yeah, but because it's going to be nasty weather,
Yeah.
and it's
Nasty means 2.5 meters in the anchor bay.
yes, and 40 knots of wind and gusts. So this is already now pretty gnarly with like 1 meter wave or 1.1. So adding another on top of that and a bit more, it's probably going to be better to be in a different place. So that's why we decided that we're going to move. To
Anchor in the
the
cement bay.
Exactly.
You're always up for a surprise, aren't you?
Uh-huh. What is the surprise?
The captain is on vacation.
The captain is on vacation. Uh-huh.
So I think you're in charge now. Why are we leaving in the first place?
We're leaving because there's bad weather coming, and we believe that the anchorage 2 miles east is going to be better protected than this one.
What is bad weather? How much is bad weather?
That, I guess, is up to anyone to decide, but right now it's going to be close to 40 knots and 2.5 meter waves. So it's not super bad, but we just want to play it safe. Same as on Carl, first you have to switch the battery on from the engine.
Engine battery on.
Engine battery on, so next thing is to
What about
switch
our
on the... Oh, what?
The anchor light.
Please switch off the anchor light.
Oh, my dear. It's done.
Please now switch on the engine. Or do you want me to do all of these things? I already checked that. See, this is the captain. This is the captain making me in charge, but double checking everything. Better safe than sorry. I already checked. Before switching on the engine, make sure the transmission is in neutral.
We have dogs that like to move them. So, engine on.
Now I'd like you to go up in the front and take up the anchor chain. Everything is as usual, by the way. This is how we always do it. Nothing changed.
I go for the chain. It's okay.
You go for the chain.
Captain.
I'm not sure why we're doing this. I think this is a payback from when I did this to him in Mexico. Usually what I do when I'm at the helm and Floh is picking up the anchor is that I push a little bit into the direction where the anchor chain is laying because he's taking up by hand. So it helps to go in this direction a little bit. It also helps to see if you're running into someone by accident. Usually Floh will let me know once the anchor is off the ground, so I know we're not hooked to the floor anymore and I have to keep the boat steady. And then he also gives me another signal once the anchor is actually up and on deck. Mr. Orden? Okay, looks like we're off. There is a bit of wind from the side, so I have to make sure that we don't run into any of the other boats. And making sure that we're not running into
one of the two ferries.
Into one of the two ferries coming through here whilst navigating and filming. High professional. We usually run the engine around 1,800 RPM. That's more or less our cruising speed, or not speed, but rotation, RPM. So a little side remark here from the right corner is that you want to make sure your motor's up to temperature before you rev it up. So usually we idle it at anchor before we actually take the anchor up. We didn't do that this time, so we went back to a little lower RPM until we're really nice and hot, and then we're gonna step up the game. So apparently I'm the captain for these next 15 minutes or half an hour. So I was like, so we're gonna take the sails up? It's only like 1.8 miles. So I think we're not gonna take the sails up, but I did vote for taking the genoa out once we're outside of this little nook here. So we at least get a little bit of support from the wind, because it is nice wind. But it's only like half an hour, so we're gonna be lazy. Basically, we're just going around this little tip. There is a big cement factory, and we're just gonna hug behind the breakwater that is over there and hope that that's gonna be a little better protected than where we were the last couple of days. 3.4, 4 knots. Well, we're still pushing a little bit from the engine. We've just put the engine in neutral to see if we're making enough speed with just the genoa. We'll see. Right now we're making 3.5. Maybe we can try and switch it off. Yeah, nice. Okay, with the help of the engine, we're now doing 5.7 at 1,750. So we're gonna be there in no time. It's not the prettiest area that we've sailed in. The dogs don't know that this is just a short jump, so they're preparing for the worst, having to be multiple days at sea. No, but they still seem in quite a good mood so far. What's the highest winds you've experienced at anchor?
With this boat, something in the 40s, 44, 43.
And with Simplicity? Or what's the other boat you think?
Yeah, my old tiny wooden boat, the folk boat. The highest that she was at anchor, but on her own, was something in the upper 60s, and with me the same, something in the 40s.
Yeah, the worst storms that I've been in were the times where I myself didn't have a wind instrument yet. So this was in Cunayala in San Blas, close to Panama. And I could only ask people afterwards how bad the storm actually was. And I think it was like mid-50s. And once I was on Maria's boat, Joanna, in those islands as well. And we had one that was gusting in the 70s. So that was intense, and solar panels were flying. That was like the worst. With instrument on Carl, I think was something in the lower 40s as well. Well, it looks like some other people have had this fabulous idea as well. I can already see one boat in the bay and another mast, maybe a third one. Oh, there's a fourth one. That's gonna be tight. All right, we're gonna take in the genoa and then see where we can drop the hook. Oh, there's another boat. So that breakwater is what's going to protect us from the waves that are going to come tomorrow, and even the swell that's already there. In here, the boats are looking pretty stable, which is nice. Just what we were looking for. Alrighty, so we took a couple of spins through the anchorage, and weirdly enough, not so many people are anchoring far inside the bay, which seems to be one of the better spots. So it's always a little worrisome because you don't know if no one's there because someone's been there before and then they left, or because there's something that you don't know. But one of the people here in the bay was pointing out that this was a good spot. So we dropped in about 5-meter depth, and now we're just backing up a little bit, letting some more chain out, and now we're gonna run in the anchor. We usually go up to 1,500 RPM, and we're probably gonna let out some extra scope. If there's room, we can go up to 5-to-1. Floh has a super heavy anchor, so usually 3-to-1 already has brought us through some pretty decent weather. But we'll see. We have space, so we might just as well put out 5-to-1. When sailing as a couple, it's easy to slip into fixed roles. One person handles this, the other handles that. What makes me feel most confident and safe, though, is rotating responsibilities. So we both know how to handle the boat on our own if needed. This captain switch was a good practice, and who knows, maybe one day Floh will even let me single-hand Santana. Now, that would be an interesting video to make. But more about that, well, guess that's up to Floh.